Hello everybody, it's Adrian for WapCar.my and I'm all about the details. Next to me here is the G20 BMW 3 Series, and this is BMW Malaysia's latest entry-level model, the 320i Sport line. And in today's video, I'm going to show you in and around the car, tell you how it drives, and point out some of the things that I like and don't like about the 320i Sport line, and help you decide whether is this your next perfect car. Log on to WapCar.my for the latest reviews, comparisons and car prices to help you find your next perfect car. And don't forget to click on the subscribe button. I remember when BMW first unveiled the G20 in its Sportline trim, I went, wow, this car looks properly sporty with all the sharp and striking edges and the twin exhaust outlets around the back. If you told me this was an M Sport, I would have believed you. Because if you remember the F30 Sportline, that was a little bit soft with its curves and round edges. It just doesn't scream sporty. But this one, the G20, feels properly sporty. And BMW Malaysia's decision to equip this with the LED headlamps, the same units as you get in the highest spec 330i M Sport, 18-inch 5 twin-spoke alloys, as well as the shadow line window surrounds. The 320i Sport line compared to the 330i M Sport, I feel that you're not getting shortchanged with this. Looks properly sporty. The design is not just for show either because it also helps with aerodynamics. The G20, compared to its predecessor, has a lower drag coefficient from 0.26 to 0.23. And this was achieved through its use of smooth body lines, an active shutter grille that opens and closes depending on your aerodynamics and cooling needs, as well as a much debated triangular shaped fog lamp housing that doubles up as an air curtain. Personally, I quite like this because it's functional, so 2 thumbs up, as well as a rather flat underbody to help the G20 slice through air more efficiently. However, my question is, what's up with this blank plate right here? I mean, it doesn't look like it helps channel air to anywhere. Here are some interesting facts that I want to point out in the G20. First up, it now gets a new aluminium bonnet that saves 15 kilograms compared to its predecessor. And compared to the F30, the G20 now has wider tracks front and rear to give the car better handling. The Hofmeister King here is also more prominent than before because BMW wants to go back to its roots. And in this 320i Sport line in particular, it rides on 18-inch alloys, the same diameter size as the 330i M Sport, but here it rides on square tire size, meaning the front and rear tires are of the same size, 225/45 R18, whereas the 330i M Sport has wider tires at the rear axles. I love the smart keyless entry with the G20. As you walk up to the car, it automatically unlocks. And at night, there's a welcome light carpet, just like a 7 Series on both sides. Despite the 320i not getting a power boot, it comes with a hands-free boot release function where you do a kicking motion just underneath the bumper and it pops up. What's a little bit disappointing is that the boot space remains the same as its F30 predecessor, only 480 litres. But fortunately, you can now finally fold the rear seats down. So driving the G20 320i, I have mixed feelings about this car. You see, the F30 generation, regardless of variant from the 316i all the way up to the 330e, it was such a complete product in the sense that it does everything. It has the badge, the BMW badge, it has great ride quality, it's dynamic to drive, and it's able to, accommodate your family, a small family, just as well. However, the G20, I don't know, it feels that BMW has took 2 steps forward and 1 step backward. Objectively, yes, the G20 is a lot sharper to drive compared to its predecessor. Every driving element about the G20 is miles better than the F30. Steering is much sharper. Ooh, the car is a lot more planted because of the wider tracks front and rear. It just has so much more mechanical grip and the limits is just on a different level compared to the F30. I am coming up to a bend, just very gently easing in, clip the apex. You can very confidently take this into very ridiculous speed very quickly. And this kind of chassis, the balance of the chassis, coupled with its fantastic B48 2-litre twin-scroll turbocharged petrol engine, which makes 184 horsepower and 300 Newton meters of torque in this 320i, paired to the brilliant, smooth, silky shifting 8-speed ZF automatic transmission. This is a weapon. This is a proper weapon. Put a right driver behind the wheel of one, and they can do amazing things with this. Zero to 100 takes 7.1 seconds on paper. We've actually tested it on our WapCar 0 to 100 test, and it does it in 7.1 seconds. This car doesn't even have launch control. Just put it into sports mode, launch it, 7.1 seconds consistently. Driving machine, the G20 320i is a fantastic machine to drive. Fantastic. Besides that, NVH Levels has also improved compared to its previous generation model. You hear clearly less road noise, wind noise is also well suppressed. It's just a huge step up compared to the F30. However, I still find that the W205 C-Class facelift the quieter car to be in. Remember what I said about having mixed feelings about the G20? Here comes the other side of the story. You see, in BMW's pursuit to making this the ultimate driving machine, they seem to have left out on suspension finesse. The F30 generation of cars, any model, the suspension calibration was just perfect, was just spot on. It was very dynamic, great handling car, but at the same time, it's very supple when going over undulations. That's the characteristics of having the best of both worlds. If you need to go fast, go very quickly around the corners, it will be able to take it. And when you come onto less than ideal roads, it will still iron out the undulations very well. The G20, however, I think the suspension engineer's design brief was to, I don't care about anything else, handling. Because, oh gosh, this car is so harsh, it rides so harshly. Right now I'm just cruising at 90 kilometers per hour on what I see is a rather flat, even surface. But the whole car is just, the suspension is not settling, it's just moving along the creases of the road. Every elevation, every half degree of elevation, you feel it. I'm coming up to a bunch of speed stripes. Just look. I just felt every single one of them. I don't know, is it just me? Am I getting old? Yeah. Only when you put the car into sports mode, manual on the pedals, and you give the car full send, you'll appreciate this kind of driving dynamics. You'll be like, whoa, this car is so great to drive. The handling characteristics is just no question asked, best in class. The rear wheel drive, the ZF, the B48 engine, everything just comes together so cleanly, so beautifully. But then as I slow down and I ask myself the question, do I want to go 10/10s all the time? Do I want to feel everything from the road? But I don't know, I'm not convinced. Let's stop by somewhere and talk about what are the things that may or may not convince me or you guys. Let's say you think that carrying this big, bulky BMW key is too inconvenient for you. There's a BMW digital key card which you can use to unlock the car and also start the car. Because it works via NFC, just place it right at the wireless charging tray. Voila! The ambient lighting is also active. When you open the doors, it doubles up as a door opening warning. However, this only works when the car is started. I much prefer this conventional layout of the instrument cluster in the 320i as opposed to the 330i's inverted rev counter, which is a little bit counterintuitive to read. However, my gripe with this instrument cluster is that it's a little bit too simplistic. You know, the only things that you can change are the different driving data, and even if you put it into the different drive modes, yeah, not much changes. It's just not happening enough. Continuing on with the topic of not happening, I think that the cabin of the 320i or the G20 in general just feels a little bit plain and boring as compared to the W205C class facelift interior. That one has 64 color ambient lighting, MBUX, very crisp displays, and it's just a lot of things going on in that car. In here, it's fairly plain. And the inconsistencies in the interior trim is irking my OCD. So for example, this center console here, you get very nice aluminium textured look for the air vent controls where you use it to open and close the air vents, as well as some of the buttons on the climate control are finished in that aluminium trim. But the rest of the buttons, as well as the outer air vents, the air vent controls, are in plastic. Why? Historically, for the 3 Series model, since the E30 all the way up to the F30, BMW has designed a grab handle for the interior door cards. In the G20, however, it's not so obvious and it might look that they've omitted it. But actually no, what they've done is they've cleverly integrated the grab handle into the door pocket design. So right here, you still get the handle, but it just doesn't look as obvious compared to previous generation 3 Series. Most USB ports in newer German cars are now Type-C connectors, and in the G20 it's no different. You get a Type-C connector in the center armrest, 2 at the back, but BMW has very thoughtfully left a Type-A connector right here in the center cup holders. So you're still able to plug in your phone via a Type-A connector. In the G20, BMW has made the aperture of the rear doors a bit bigger to aid ingress and egress. Just look how easy it is to get in and out of a 3 Series. And because this is a bigger car in general compared to its predecessor, look at the amount of knee room. I have the front seats adjusted to my usual driving position and I'm 175 cm tall. This is very impressive for a 3 Series. Space for the headroom is pretty alright, just about 1 tennis balls of space. Other amenities in here include rear air vents with automatic climate control, 2 USB Type-C charging ports, 2 back pockets, a center armrest with 2 cup holders. But it's not all great in the 3 Series. You still get quite a tall center tunnel hump, and the leather seats back here do feel a tad bit stiff. Stepping out from the 320i, I was quite surprised to find myself having a hard time choosing between the C200 or this 320i. I wasn't expecting the gap to be this close. The C200 has a very elegant exterior design, and now dressed in the AMG line body kit, it just looks very attractive. It's a very attractive package, given the interior, the gorgeous interior, as well as the amount of technologies in that, just blows this 320i out of the waters. However, the Beamer, it encompasses every element, every ethos, every spirit of BMW brand. The ultimate driving machine for sheer driving pleasure. The rest of the car, the exterior design, the interior, the features, is average. You won't feel shortchanged, but you just won't be blown away. But once you start driving this car, you start pushing this car hard, this is a much more rewarding car to drive. So if you're deciding between a C200 or this 320i, hopefully this gives you a better idea. As always, thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more videos like this, and let us know in the comment section below, would you pick a BMW 320i or the Mercedes-Benz C200? Log on to WapCar.my for the latest reviews, comparisons, and virtual reality showroom to help you decide on your next perfect car.